Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the webinar. My name is Ronin Davis. I'm a Grantee Technical Assistance Manager here at the Council of State Governments Justice Center. We're going to be talking about the Second Chance Act Technology-Based Career Training Program for incarcerated adults and juveniles, also known as Tech-Based Career Training Grant. Here at the Council of State Governments Justice Center, I oversee community initiatives, which includes adult mentoring, young fathers mentoring, children of incarcerated parents, and your grant, the Tech-Based Career Training Grant. Today I'm joined by my colleague, Andre Vicia, Policy Advisor at the Bureau of Justice Assistance. Today's webinar is scheduled to go till 3:30, but it actually is oversight. We're actually scheduled to go till 3, and we may end a little early. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up about that. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Here's the agenda for today's webinar. After the introductions, we'll give an overview of the Tech-Based Career Training Grant Program and BJA's expectations and goals for this program. We'll then discuss the different types of support available to you as Second Chance Act grantees, including technical assistance from the National Reentry Resource Center and the Planning and Implementation Guide, a tool that we will utilize as part of that technical assistance. We'll then have some time for questions at the end of the webinar. Throughout the course of the webinar, you're welcome to submit any questions that you have in the chat box at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So now I'm going to pass it over to Andre to tell you a little bit about the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Thank you, Ronin. And let me say, first and foremost, congratulations to all grantees. The Bureau of Justice Assistance, BJA, has supported reentry programs through the Second Chance Act across the country. BJA provides leadership and guidance for criminal justice programs and the development of criminal justice policy.
Thanks, Andre. So now I'll tell you a little bit about the Justice Center. The Justice Center is a national nonprofit organization that serves policymakers at the local, state, and federal levels from all branches of government. Staff provides practical, nonpartisan advice and evidence-based, consensus-driven strategies to increase public safety and strengthen communities. Technical assistance for your Second Chance Act grant is provided by the National Reentry Resource Center, which is funded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance and managed by us here at the Justice Center. The NRRC provides support to SCA grantees and the broader field. We are constantly adding new content and resources to our website, and we send out a monthly newsletter that provides information about the latest research, funding opportunities, distance learning events, and other news about reentry. We encourage everyone who hasn't done so already to sign up for the newsletter. Please visit the link on your screen after today's webinar, and we'll also post that link at the end of the webinar. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this grant program itself. First off, as Andre said, congratulations to everyone on the phone for getting this grant. Each of your programs are offering unique approaches to the fields of reentry, and you can see on this slide the other awardees in your cohort. Now I'll turn it back over to Andre, who will talk about some of the expectations and goals of this grant program.
Thanks again, Ronin. Since 2010, BJA has awarded over $22 million to technology-based training reentry programs in 21 states and the District of Columbia. The purpose of this program is to improve the employability of incarcerated individuals and facilitate their transition to the community. Within the context of this initiative, reentry is not envisioned to be a specific program, but rather a process that begins when the individual is first incarcerated, pre-release, and ends with his or her successful community reintegration, post-release. This year sees many changes in the tech-based career training program from previous years. The award period is longer to support programs in their planning and evaluation efforts. We've increased the amount of time programs can work with participants pre- and post-release. The previous solicitation used more restrictive language concerning the Internet. This year, BJA is encouraging innovative approaches to using internet where appropriate. Additionally, this year, we've encouraged the use of job readiness assessments and partnering with educational institutions. The target population for this grant program must be a specific subset of the population of adults or juveniles convicted or adjudicated and incarcerated at the time of their enrollment in the program. Program participants must be medium to high risk to reoffend as evidenced by an empirically validated risk assessment instrument. Grant programs must be partnered with a training entity, including reentry plans and case management in their services, and provide internet access where appropriate and while ensuring public safety. Data collection is a key activity for all Second Chance Act programs. This includes tracking participants' recidivism and comparing it against a baseline recidivism rate, that matches the definition used to track participants' recidivism, as well as following up on other outcomes including employment, job retention, continuing education, and any additional wraparound services that your provider organization or local jurisdiction provides. Grant programs must be partnered with a training entity. Now we will go over the different types of support available to grantees. There are 3 types of support available to adult career tech programs. Your BJA policy advisor is available to you to assist with any grant management needs. This includes budget approval and modifications and proposed changes in the scope of your program. The PMT, which is used to report on data from your program, is administered by CSR Incorporated. Technical issues regarding the tool can be brought to them. Then there is the technical assistance from the Council of State Government's National Reentry Resource Center. The TA providers offer a wide variety of support related to content, implementation, and facilitation. Each grantee will be assigned a TA provider from the NRRC to support you as you plan and implement your reentry program, as well as your career-based tech program. Now we'll pass the presentation on to Roneen, who will talk about the grantee support the NRRC can provide and any other continuing question and answers. Take it away, Roneen.
Thanks, Andre. So this slide shows you who your TA contact will be at the NRRC. For this cohort of tech-based training grants, there is 1 TA provider who will be working with all of you. If he has not done so already, he will be reaching out to you soon to set up an introductory call before the SCA Conference in December. He'll also see the information for your state policy advisor at BJA. As you saw, each Second Chance Act grantee is assigned an NRRC technical assistance provider that provides support in a number of ways. For instance, as you complete the required planning and implementation guide that I will describe more in depth later, you will find that your TA provider is available to field any of your questions, then review and provide constructive feedback on your planning and implementation guide. Also, your TA provider aims to work with you to identify and execute a tailored technical assistance plan that takes into account the importance of tracking progress with grant deliverables and collaboratively finding solutions to any barriers you might face along the way. Finally, the NRRC's mission is to advance the reentry field through knowledge transfer and dissemination and to promote evidence-based best practices. As such, we will ask your permission to share any successes with reducing recidivism or creative solutions to the challenge of bridging the gap between theory and practice with entities such as stakeholders, your peers who also have grant programs, and possibly through products the Justice Center aims to publish in the future. The NRRC strives to provide ongoing support that is responsive to each grantee's unique needs. This often includes assisting with data collection and analysis, training on what works to reduce recidivism and improve other outcomes, helping translate research into proposed policy and practice improvements, supporting the development of implementation and/or sustainability plans, as well as connecting you to other grantees doing similar work. Here are 6 of the primary methods by which the NRRC delivers TA. Regular monthly calls between program staff and the TA provider. These calls should include any staff overseeing day-to-day operations of the program. At times, it may be useful to bring in line staff and partner agencies depending on the focus of each call. Peer learning opportunities may include webinars tailored to a specific set of programs that will allow you and your peers to troubleshoot shared challenges and discuss strategies. This may also include TA providers putting you in touch with other grantees or organizations that have worked through similar issues. The NRRC hosts a number of webinars on a variety of topics, as well as promotes webinars from across the fields of reentry and employment and behavioral health. The NRRC contracts with a number of consultants who can provide expert trainings on select topics, as well as assist you in finding trainings in your area. Your TA provider will pass along relevant and useful resources, but be sure to sign up for the NRRC newsletter, which I mentioned earlier, to learn about the latest resources being made available to the field. NRRC site visits are designed to assist you and your staff in your implementation process. These site visits are not audits of your program. They may include facilitating stakeholder meetings, conducting trainings, conducting assessments and interviews to determine where support may be needed, among other focuses. Another important opportunity that the NRRC and BJA provide to grantees is the Second Chance Act Conference held in Washington, D.C. Each grantee should have budgeted to send a total of 3 staff to the conference, which will take place December 16th through the 18th. The conference will offer a wide variety of workshops and plenaries to support your work. Something to note for tech-based career training grantees is there will be a number of workshops and events at the conference focused on reentry and employment that you should look out for in the agenda. As mentioned previously, there will be a planning and implementation guide designed to assist you and your TA provider. The guide will be made available to grantees prior to the conference. The guide itself serves to identify implementation goals and measurement objectives, develop a comprehensive program that is oriented around evidence-based practices, communicate progress with key stakeholders, evaluate the program and think about sustainability, develop a TA plan with your TA lead, and comply with BJA's expectations for the grant. The P&I Guide provides information about grant requirements and best practices. Each section of the guide includes exercises for grantees to self-assess how program activities align with evidence-based practices and other recommendations, as well as identify areas of success and challenges. While working through this guide, your TA provider is available to assist you through that process. You'll see here the 7 sections of the Planning and Implementation Guide for tech-based grantees. Section 1, very simple, getting started and setting goals for your program. Section 2 is around defining or refining your target population. As many of you know, after submitting a proposal for a grant, there may be some changes in how what your program plan is, and the Planning and Implementation Guide is there to help bridge that gap between what was proposed and what is being implemented. In Section 3, you'll see service provision and support, and Section 4 is very focused on the career training and employment support aspects of your program. Section 5 is where we'll talk about data collection, performance measurement, and evaluation, and Section 6 is where we talk about sustainability. Section 7 has a number of resources to provide you with, provided for you that deal with reentry, employment, behavioral health, and other services. In your Planning and Implementation Guide, under Appendix A is the Resource Allocation and Service Matching tool. This tool is presented in the Integrated Reentry and Employment Strategies White Paper that was released by the Justice Center. The tool is based on 2 key dimensions, an individual's risk of reoffending, also known as their criminogenic risk, and job readiness. Using criminogenic risk and job readiness assessments will significantly assist your training and reentry efforts. The Reentry and Employment White Paper discusses this tool and how it was developed. Please visit the employment page of our website listed on this slide for more information on the work of that the Justice Center is doing to integrate employment into reentry. As you know, this grant program is available to agencies serving adults as well as juveniles. For programs serving juveniles and/or transitional age youth, Appendix B features information on research-based principles for reducing recidivism and improving other youth outcomes. These principles are detailed in a white paper released by the Justice Center in 2014. Please check it out and other resources for programs serving youth by visiting csgjusticecenter.org/youth. Also, on the link should be on the slide. All right, now we'll move into the question and answer section of the webinar. As mentioned before, if you have any questions, please put them at please enter them at the bottom right-hand corner, of your WebEx screen, and it'll pop up over here, and we'll be able to answer them for you. And we'll give a few minutes to see if anyone has any questions about your tech-based career training program. We did just get a question about who to send to the Second Chance Act conference. So as I mentioned before, that in the solicitation, you should have budgeted for about 3 people to attend the conference. In terms of who those people should be, you really want to send people who are involved in the program's day-to-day operations. So the program director or project manager, whatever the title might be, the person who oversees the program would definitely benefit from attending the conference. A case manager or facilitator would also benefit from being there. If your program is being evaluated, or if you have someone whose job it is to evaluate your program, they could also benefit from attending the conference. We do have a number of workshop sessions that review evaluation and data collection, all those different issues. So just thinking about who should come, try to think about who's going to be interacting with the program on a regular basis or is involved on a day-to-day basis. Also, as I mentioned before, everyone is assigned a TA provider from the National Reentry Resource Center. For the grantees in this cohort, all 4 are assigned Jan Dela Cruz, who will be the TA provider for all the tech-based career grants for FY15. So he should have reached out to most, if not all of you by now, and should be working with you to set up a call, ideally before the Second Chance Act conference. But at the conference, there will definitely be an opportunity to meet him face-to-face as well as other CSG staff. All right, so we'll give it another minute here to see if there are any additional questions. All right, it looks like we're good on the questions. If you do have questions that come up after the webinar, please feel free to contact me or Jan, who will be your TA provider. We can both help out with any additional questions regarding the grant. You also had my contact information and Andre from BJA's contact information up there. We will email a link to the recording of this presentation once it becomes available, as well as a link to a PDF of the PowerPoint slides used in the presentation in the coming weeks. So you'll be able to have access to all the information in the PowerPoint as well as our contact information. These links will also be made available on the National Reentry Resource Center's website, which you can find at csgjusticecenter.org/NRRC. You'll see on this slide there's a link again to go to our website to subscribe to our newsletter. I do encourage you to subscribe. It will give you more information about updates on the conference, information about reentry resources as well as employment resources, and you can sign up for when you sign up for the newsletter, there is an option to sign up for information specifically around employment as well as other topics that might be relevant to your programming. Thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to meeting and working with everyone. Have a great day.